Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to check out the FAQ for Evolving Skies. Every time a new set is released, when we get to pre-release weekend, an FAQ is put out answering all the ruling questions you need to know from that newly released set. So we need to have a look. And to be perfectly clear, right, if you want to play the Pokemon trading card game, you need to be aware of these rulings. And yes, they are on Pokegym. Massive shout out to the lovely folks over at Pokegym for providing these rulings. Those dudes are awesome. But let's be 100% clear, these are completely and utterly official rulings. Every one of these rulings is completely official. This is how the game works. So let's start off having a little bit of a look at Milotic. Now Milotic's got that new Dew Guard ability, and it prevents all effects to you or your hand by supporter cards that your opponent plays from their hand. Does it stop supporter cards removing tools or energy from my Pokemon? Something like Team Yell Grunt, for instance. And the answer is no, because Pokemon in play are not part of you or your hand. But it will prevent your opponent using something like Mani to make you put your hand on the bottom of your deck and draw a new hand. This is there to stop things like Mani. It is not there to stop energy removal. I am sorry. Now, Ludicolo is coming back with a nice little ability, Enthusiastic Dance. And it says that when you play it from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, attacks from your basic Pokemon deal 100 more damage to the active this turn. That is awesome. Well, if you use that ability and then play a new basic Pokemon after using the ability, do you still do the extra 100 damage? And the answer is yes, because Ludicolo basically creates a state where all of your basic Pokemon do an extra 100. It doesn't matter when they're played, as long as it's that turn and it's your basic Pokemon, you good, ladies and gentlemen, you good. Now, Jumplufe is coming back. Now, again, we are, if you haven't guessed, in the ability portion of this particular video, and Jumplufe's got a nice little ability, Fluffy Barrage. Love that name. This Pokemon can attack twice per turn. I know. Well, okay. So, does that mean I can play an energy, trainer cards, etc. between attacks? No. When you enter the attack phase, that is the last part of your turn, like always. You do one attack, then another attack, or if you don't want to do a second attack, you can pass. You are only ever in the attack phase of your turn, though do remember, of course, if you get a KO, your opponent will have to put a new Pokemon active. What happens if Jumplufe is confused? Well, you flip to attack. When you're confused, you have to flip, and you have to flip ahead in order to attack. Tails, you take 30 damage. So when you go to attack with Jumplufe, you flip for confusion, and then whether it's heads or tails, if you want to attack again, you have to flip for confusion again. You don't flip twice for the first attack, and you don't get to do the second attack without confusion. You're still confused. Confusion makes you flip to attack. Jumplufe, you attack twice, so you have to flip for each attack. Now, Zoroark is one of the most interesting abilities we've seen in the game for a while. It is that one that lets you choose a Stage 1 Pokemon from your discard pile and swap it with Zoroark. It's awesome. So if I use this ability, what happens to any damage counters, special conditions, or other effects that were on Zoroark? They go away. The damage counters and any special conditions and any effects will be removed from the newly swapped in Pokemon. Of course, we do sometimes see that abilities like this specifically say you keep any damage counters, etc. That is not the case here. They all go away, and this is huge. You heal and everything and get rid of special conditions and all of that good stuff as you go. This is awesome. There is a downside though, because the second ruling, if I use Zoroark's Phantom Transformation ability to put a Stage 1 Pokemon from my discard pile in its place, can I evolve it into a Stage 2 Pokemon straight away? No. The stage 1 is completely new, nothing carries over. If everything carried over, then we would say, as long as the old stage 1 was down for a turn, it can evolve. But because nothing carries over, you've got to wait a turn. I am sorry. Speaking of weird kind of evolution things, there is a skip plume in the set with solar evolution. Once during your turn, when you attach an energy from your hand to this Pokemon, you may search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon and put it onto this Pokemon to evolve it. Well, if I attach an energy card to Skip Plume on the same turn that it came into play, can I use its Solar Evolution ability to evolve it right away? Yes, you can. And incidentally, this is one of the reasons why this is such a cool ability. Because you can just go from Hoppip to Skip Plume, attach an energy, you're straight up into JUMPLUFE. It's one of the things that makes it so good. Abilities like this break the rules of evolution, and it's what makes them such good abilities. Again, if you couldn't evolve, it would say, but it doesn't, so you totally can. And I am very happy about it. So moving from abilities over to attacks, then we've got Vaporeon VMAX. This has got Bubble Pod. It lets you put a Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench and then attach up to 3 water energy from your discard pile to that Pokemon. Okay. Does it allow me to put a Stage 2 or VMAX Pokemon directly onto my bench? Yes. Again, if we go back to the wording of it, it specifies it must be a water Pokemon. It does not specify that it has to be a basic, so once again, this is another one of those where because it doesn't say you can't, you can, and it is actually what makes the attack good, although I still think it's just a hair too slow. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. So, okay, how does that interact with Golurk V? Because remember, Golurk V's got that lovely attack, Rewind Beam, that if you attack an evolved Pokemon, you put the higher stage evolution card into your opponent's hand. Nothing. While a stage 2 is an evolution Pokemon, it is not an evolved Pokemon, and that's what you need to do in order to get it with Rewind Beam. And I know this is slightly weird, but essentially it is an evolution Pokemon because it's not a basic, but it's not an evolved Pokemon because it hasn't evolved, so there's nothing to wind back. I am aware that one's a little bit weird. So, Cryogonal. There is a new Cryogonal in the set. It's got Element Chain, and for a single water energy, you look at the top 6 cards of your deck. You choose any number of basic energy you find and attach them to your Pokemon in any way that you like. Okay. Do you have to attach all the energy cards that you find? Because bearing in mind, you might have a certain number of energy left in your deck. You might want to save some for later. You might have more than you need to power up the Pokemon you want, etc. No. And the reason is, you are looking at the cards and you are choosing which energy to attach. The cards you reveal are not public information unless you choose to reveal and attach them. So your opponent doesn't know how many energy you've got, so you absolutely can just put in some of them. You do not have to put in all of them. Now, there is a new Smeargle in the set, and like Smeargle tends to do, it's kind of interesting. For 2 colourless energy, you do 30 damage. You reveal any number of basic energy you like from your hand, and then you do an extra 30 damage for each type of basic energy you revealed in this way. Well, what happens if you revealed 5 fire energy? You deal 60 damage. It is 30 more for each type of basic energy, not 30 more for each basic energy. So if you only reveal 1 type, no matter how many you reveal, it is still just an extra 30 damage. Now, Rayquaza VMAX is a rather interesting new Pokemon, one that looks like it could be very good, and it's got the attack Max Burst. You do 20 damage base. You discard any number of fire or lightning energy from this Pokemon, dealing 80 more for each energy card discarded in this way. Can I discard a combination of fire and lightning energy? No. All the energy discarded must be either fire or lightning. You cannot mix and match. If you could, It would be a way better attack, but you can't. I'm sorry. DRACOZOLTV is finally coming out in this set, slightly later than we were planning on, and it's got the attack Primeval Beak. For 1 lightning energy, you do 30 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, your opponent cannot attach any energy from their hand to the defending Pokemon. Can I still attach energy to my bench Pokemon during my turn? Yes, you can, because Primeval Beak only affects the Pokemon that was defending at the point when DRACOZOLT attacked. Yes, that does make the attack so much worse. If my opponent attacks with DRACOZOLTV's Primeval Beak, and then I retreat to a new Pokemon, can I attach energy cards to my new active Pokemon? Yes, you can, because once again, Primeval Beak only works on the Pokemon that was defending when the attack happened. I am sorry. And apparently we're going slightly out of order here, because we've already talked about Rayquaza VMAX, but now we need to mention Rayquaza V and its Spiral Burst attack, but the ruling is going to seem pretty similar. Spiral Burst does 20 damage base and allows you to discard up to 2 fire or lightning energy from this Pokemon, dealing 80 more for each energy card discarded in this way. Can I discard one of each? No! It's got to be 1 or 2 fire or 1 or 2 lightning. They are your only options. Now, probably the most interesting attack in the entire set, and yes, I mean that very literally, belongs to Mediciam V and Yoga Loop. For 2 colorless energy, you place 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon, but if you take a KO doing so, you get an extra turn, but you can't use Yoga Loop 2 turns in a row. Well, if I use Mediciam V's Yoga Loop and KO one of my opponent's Pokemon, I get another turn. But Yoga Loop also says if one of my Pokemon used Yoga Loop during my last turn, this attack can't be used. Is the second part about my last turn referring to the turn before I used Yoga Loop the first time, or the second turn after using Yoga Loop? And the answer is simply, if you take another turn after using Yoga Loop, you cannot use Yoga Loop on that second turn. If I use the attack and take another turn, do I get to draw a card for that extra turn? Yes, that extra turn is a proper turn. You draw a card, and you get to use a supporter card, and you get to retreat. All the things that are usually once per turn, you get to do again. You get a full other turn. The only thing is, you are not allowed to use Yoga Loop. Moving on into trainer cards then, Ryan is coming out in this set, is making his debut with a rather interesting card, and it's that one that says you can only play it if one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn, and you attach a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, and if you do, you search your deck for any card and put it into your hand. Can I use it if there are no basic energy in my discard pile to attach? No. The main effect is attaching a basic energy from your discard pile, and then you search. If you can't attach, you cannot play the card. Now, every set, we end up getting a new pair of scrolls. We do have a new pair of scrolls here. We've got Rapid Strike Scroll of the Flying Dragon, which is frankly a little bit of a mouthful. But it gives you a new attack for 2 energy that lets you discard 2 energy and deal 90 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Can I attach it to a non-Rapid Strike Pokemon? Yes. But you can't use the attack. And incidentally, this has always been the case for tools. Some special energy can only be attached to certain types of Pokemon. For tools, it has always been the case that you can attach it to anyone. You just might not get the effect of it. Now, Rescue Carrier is coming around in this particular set, and it's a lovely new item card, and it lets you choose up to 2 Pokemon with 90 HP or less from your discard pile and put them into your hand. Can I take 2 Pokemon that each have 90 HP or less, or does the total have to be 90 HP or less? You can take 2. It's very much along the same lines here as Level Ball. It is just looking for those small Pokemon, giving them a little bit of an advantage. If the total had to be 90 HP or less, it would be a much, much worse card. Technically, I mean, you can see how it could be read the other way. It would just be a much worse card. Speaking of these new scrolls, there is also Single Strike Scroll of the Fanged Dragon. Again, bit of a mouthful there. And it gives you another attack that for a fighting 2 metal and a colourless does 300, but discards all the energy. Same question, same answer. Can I attach it to a non-single strike Pokemon? Well, yes, but you won't get the effect of the attack when you do so. And finally, there's that lovely new Spirit Mask card. Another lovely new tool card. When the Pokemon this card is attached to takes damage from an attack, your opponent has to discard a card from their hand. And here is a very big ruling that I know a bunch of people have asked me. If I knock out a Pokemon with Spirit Mask attached, do I draw my prize first or discard a card from my hand first? The effect of Spirit Mask happens before prizes are taken. Essentially, you need to actually resolve the whole attack thing before you can take prizes, so you need to use the effect of Spirit Mask before you draw a prize. And that is huge. This is a genuinely huge deal, and it makes Spirit Mask so much worse. It is the expected ruling, incidentally, but it makes it a much, much worse card. Because, of course, your opponent might have a really good prize that they want to pick up, that you want to get rid of, and you want a chance for them to draw it and you to immediately discard it. But because the discarding happens first, you cannot end up getting rid of that card in their prizes. Now, obviously, with Spirit Mask, your opponent has a choice. But if your opponent has a 0-card hand, they would be forced to discard it, and that would be huge. That is not the case here, so Spirit Mask is a lot worse than it could be. But then again, Zoroark's a lot better than it could be, so I don't know, call it a draw. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the new things you need to know about. Those are the new rulings, and like I've said, if you want to be playing the Pokemon trading card game, you want to be knowing these rulings. They're really important. You need to know them. Now you do, and life is good. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know from you guys. I want to know which of these rulings you like, which of them you expected, which you don't like, whether any were unexpected. I want to know anything you want to tell me, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the MASI, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.